Hi, this is Adam Kunzmiller with BGG TV and
Eric Martin.
We're here on the last day,
That's
winding
right.
down, kind of doing the overall recap. So I guess we'll start with the thing that everyone always asks us.
What was the game of the show?
What was the game of the show? Or what game did you like the most? Or what game surprised you most? So Eric?
I keep saying Codenames the whole time.
You're
That was
stealing my
answer.
thunder here.
I know, but it's hard just because, again, you don't really, in our position, we don't interact with that many games
It's true.
at the show in order to discover more things.
It's true. I love Codenames. I think Codenames hits that sweet spot for me of easy to teach, mass appeal. I can imagine playing it with non-gamers. Like, it's the kind of game that I'm going to buy because I know it'll hit the table.
That's right.
And that makes it an easy purchase. But
It was funny. So I was talking with a representative from a German company who happened to be visiting here. Again, much more international as they're coming here with like Finnish publishers showing up. There's Korean publishers coming around to license things, talking to Japanese publishers. It's just, people coming into Gen Con and try to license and talk to people. So there's a German publisher just being like, yes, I saw Codenames. I was like, I would love to license that if possible, but someone else apparently already has it. So,
wow.
but it's that, yeah.
I think what
that
surprised
those
me
connections
about
here.
Codenames is I've started playing it with much bigger groups of people.
Right.
So I played it with 12 people last night. And you just play in teams, and it's interesting. It changes the game entirely because you get to like commiserate and discuss your options, and you get to hear the other side of the team discuss their interpretations, and it almost starts to feel a little bit like Mysterium, where it's like, oh wow, that's what they think that word meant. Oh no, like
I got to go in a different direction.
Go with your first instinct, please. Don't point at that one. That's the trap card.
That's right.
It's fun.
I always love Password, and that's the same thing where you have that first impression and you gotta redirect.
Yeah.
What people are doing.
So that was a big one. I think a lot of people who saw Mafia de Cuba were super excited about it, but it's very limited.
It was given only to press members.
Yeah,
right
so
now.
it wasn't for sale, just given to press members. It seems really cool. So that seemed to be a highlight for a lot of people.
Yeah, and again, it's going to be a spiel release. I mean, I'll have to talk about it more because I played it a couple times now. Oh God, that sounded. Yeah, I played it a couple times now. But
I don't know if you knew this, but he's kind of a big deal.
I am previewing things. I'm talking about things that are coming out. So sometimes we get to play new things. And it's not normally, like, I'm a terrible liar. So I always have to do the role that will let me not lie in order to just like play like a normal person. Otherwise I'm just like, I can't keep a straight face. But for those people who like the coup type of, people reading experience, it's going to be ideal.
Somebody had asked earlier about sleeper hit of the show. I don't know if there was any total sleeper hit. I think maybe a little. Some people were surprised by Codenames. I was going to say Monarch.
Totally.
It was certainly a sleeper. I don't know how big of a hit it was. We were all surprised to hear people talking about it, for sure.
Right.
So,
do you know anything about it?
We interviewed him. I didn't, though. Beth would.
So we know nothing.
We'll ask Beth when she comes over.
I mean, so yes, I looked up the short description. It's number 2 on our Geek Buzz.
Yeah.
And Mary Flanagan came over. She was super excited. I helped her set up like a publisher listing on my phone.
She was really nice.
She was
very, very enthusiastic.
Yeah. So all I know is that it has female characters in it.
So
that's such a minimal description. I feel like a jerk just saying that. Oh my God, it's got females in it.
Somebody was asking.
I'm sorry.
It seems like the general buzz was that it was a little bit of a disappointing year. I'm not sure if that's true or not. Any thoughts? I don't think there were any there were no bombastic, amazing oh my God.
I think there were no outright failures. I think it was that there was nothing that set your pants on fire.
That's true. And I don't know, I can't speak for the other, people who interviewed, but at no point did I look at any game and think, what's going on here, right? Like, there's certainly games that I was like, this isn't for me because of my personal taste.
Right.
But everyone I said, I can see why people would have fun with this.
As you were saying, there were no Flagos.
There were no Flagos, yeah.
Yeah.
No Flagos for 2015.
I don't know, well, there could have been. We just didn't look at them.
That's true.
There was a guy a couple of aisles over has this self-published game called the Omega Weapon, which is like the Omega Weapon,
with that tiny grid with graph paper-sized squares on it and stuff like that.
And he's got a lot of boxes piled up, and it seemed like a self-published thing that I knew zero information about. and I was not encouraged to go look at more.
So that's interesting comparing those two experiences, because Monarch, she didn't have a publisher. She just did it herself, came to Gen Con, got it out there, and seemed to be embraced and really well received. This other guy probably didn't have quite the same experience.
I believe Monarch as well was a Kickstarter project, so it did have some foreknowledge of people where she was taking pre-orders here because she has not delivered to backers, so she was not going to sell them here.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, right. And so I'll take pre-orders, and then after the backers get it, then we'll start sending things out.
You gotta give her props for doing right by her Kickstarter backers, to be here at Gen Con and have product and refuse to sell it to people.
Yes.
Until Kickstarter had theirs. So
that's
good
the
for
sort.
her.
I always wonder about that, whether that is just the default market expectation now. Do Kickstarter projects actually say you will get the game before anyone else, or is that just the
people
default
have just
assumption?
been burnt by it so much and flamed for it so much when it's happened.
But are they actually burnt? Were they promised to get it
burnt,
first?
I mean the publisher getting burnt by the backlash of the public, even if they hadn't promised it or something like that. That's what I mean by burnt.
So
not the backers.
So now the publisher, it's sort of a mutual understanding here. We're going to get this to you first. Don't worry about it.
I think the publishers have learned from the mistakes of their colleagues past, and seen how certain projects were, how their reaction was to certain projects, something like that. Although, so Eminent Domain's an example. When it was first kickstarted, there was a lot of hubbub about how it was handled at Gen Con, who got what when.
So much bub.
I don't know in the long run if it seriously hindered that game. Who can really say? But
No, there's just certain people who will bring it up every time that Tasty Minstrel is mentioned, but,
Yeah, so maybe a publisher's like, let's not have that albatross around my neck for the rest of my publishing career.
Perhaps so.
Maybe something like that.
Even if it's not promised.
Right.
That's what's weird. That's what I find weird.
That is interesting, how there are these kind of unspoken rules that are developing over time.
Yeah, I don't know. I had people ask. I had some downtime yesterday. I was waiting for something, and asked people if they had questions on Twitter. And one of them was, "I plan to go next year. What should I do if I'm going to have a booth?"
Oh, if you're going to attend?
Well, it wasn't clear. It was like, I'm a designer and I'm thinking of attending, but I'm not sure exactly.
That's a good
what
question,
I'm
though. So
have.
let's take that from two angles. Let's say you're attending Gen Con as just a game enthusiast fan for the first year.
Right.
So recommendations. I would say...
Oh man, it depends on what you want to do.
Yeah, well, research what's coming out ahead of time and figure out what's in limited quantity and what you care about getting.
That's right. Go ahead and book a hotel room.
Book a hotel ahead of time.
Don't worry about the Gen Con block, I would think. Go ahead and book something anyway. And then if you get something in the block, well then you got that. But
I would personally say don't spend all of your time in the dealer hall. There's a lot of really cool, interesting things that happen at Gen Con that you never see in this room. Just amazing, interesting, organized games. True Dungeons is a pretty unique experience. All sorts of cool stuff like that.
That's
so
right. The food trucks. The
food
Ortis
trucks.
Regni room.
The Ortis Regni room, of course.
Yes.
That'll probably be here next year.
I'm sure it will. What else? So
as a vendor.
As a vendor, you're probably screwed. You are not going to have space.
You're not going to be here next year.
That's what I mentioned. The people who are here now are already reserving their space for next year.
In fact, if you were here for the first time this year, they're not even allowing you to reserve your spot again, because they have a frequent vendor program or whatever. And so if you've been here for a couple years, then they'll let you register early or something like that.
Yeah.
And that's how popular and in demand it all is.
Yes.
So.
And yet at the same time, there's no room in the open gaming area. There is just no room for more things.
Right.
I don't know. I was gonna see if I can contact people involved, see if I can ask them questions. What are your plans? The multiple questions during the Fantasy Flight Games in-flight report were all about, we tried to sign up for events and they were full in 45 minutes. What can we do?
That's a big problem.
And you're just
with
like,
Gen Con too.
And Fantasy Flight's like, we have as much space as we can ask for, but of course, Alderac wants space, and Wizards of the Coast wants space, and these people want space.
I live in Indianapolis, so I have a lot of really close friends that are huge Gen Con enthusiasts, and the Gen Con event sign-up experience is very harrowing. So everybody who is going gets everything they want to attend in their cart and starts turbo refreshing, waiting for it to get published. And it's published, and like 20% of the events are sold out like that.
Right.
And so they'll just publish, submit my wish list of events, and then just see what I happen to get. I mean, what a cluster, right? Like, so I don't know how they fix that, but it's kind of ridiculous. And
No.
it always rubs people the wrong way.
How could you fix it?
Right.
I
well,
mean,
raise prices. Right.
just to keep people from coming.
Yeah, exactly.
They're already doing that.
And they're still selling out. So
Yes, it's so worthwhile.
I mean, if you're selling out in a second,
and expanding to 5 days or 6 days or what, that doesn't matter, because then it'd just be us sitting here for 6 days instead of 4. Oh
Right.
my God, we'd shoot ourselves.
yeah.
No, but it's impossible to imagine in this space how you would do it.
So somebody wanted to know how you would compare Gen Con to the Spiel.
We're just talking about this with a German publisher by chance. I mean, of course, the difference, the open gaming area here at Gen Con is huge, much larger than the exhibitor hall, and that does not exist at Spiel. Instead, it would all be exhibitor hall, all of it.
Like I did an interesting event last night that I don't think you would ever see at the Spiel, which was a game on demand room where you get cards and they call you and you just show up and there's a whole list. This is role playing, a whole list.
Right.
We will run any one of the following 15 two-hour role playing games. You just kind of browse and you're like, oh, I'll do that one, I'll do that one.
Interesting.
And the later you're called, the less options you'll have.
Right.
You just go in and every table is a weird, quirky game that somebody's passionate about and is running for you. And it was actually a lot of fun. I really enjoyed the game I played. It's just like, that one was an interesting mix of, all I knew was I have 2 hours, I want to play something, I'll go do that.
All
But
right.
then there's people that, are turbo refreshing so they can reserve their spot in the Call of Cthulhu game at, on Saturday or what have you.
Right.
You have all types. There's tons of LARPs.
We were
going on here.
talking with a woman who went to a dance party last night. Dance
Yeah.
party with gamers. I guess it's an annual event
That's
they do
true.
on
Indianapolis
Saturday.
really embraces Gen Con.
I thought it maybe was an official event. Maybe not.
It may have been, it may not have been. You'll look at all of the businesses have rethemed their menus for this
Okay.
week, and
Right.
everybody's always, cool, way to go, man. I think people here realize that the money Gen Con brings in is greatly appreciated.
I think one big difference is that Spiel is like a day-long outing for a German family. We're going to go here, we're going to play a whole bunch of games. It's like going to a museum. We're going to check out everything, check out all the exhibits, and then we bring home a souvenir. And then here you come, and I'm going to be here all 4 days.
Right.
And it was this on this day, and this is Thursday evening, and we got a
Does
day-long...
the Spiel have a lot of stuff going on super late at night?
No.
Because Gen Con definitely.
Yes, this is like, it's Spiel,
it's
the
24
exhibitor
hours a
hall
day.
is 10 to 7, 10 to 6 on the last day, and then everything closes, get out, and people go to their hotels and play. That's it. There's no on-site gaming at all. And even when it's open, the only on-site gaming is in the exhibitor booths. There is no open space that you're playing in.
At Gen Con, you can walk around at 2 a.m. and see hundreds of people playing games.
Yes.
So that's another big difference.
Yeah. All in the
Somebody else-
open gaming area. You just walk up and find tables and start playing with people.
Oh, it is an official event, the Saturday Night Dance Social.
All right, there you go.
Was it you were telling me that there was somebody rented out the entire zoo for an evening?
That was for the Geek Chic XP special
Experience.
high-class experience
Whatever.
thing. Yeah. Whatever kind of thing they're doing.
There was a good question that I missed.
Yeah, you're welcome. Does that get your wheels a turning?
If you asked a question and I didn't ask it, just ask it again.
There's some chat.
What did we actually play? I played a lot of Codenames last night. Before that, Eric and I played a lot of quirky Japanese trick-taking games.
That's right. What did I play? I played nothing last night.
Yeah.
I went to the hotel and I worked, and then I went to the upper deck announcement party, and I had my drinks and candy together.
I went to the Rio room and played Codenames till 3 a.m. and then accidentally locked my wallet and keys in the Rio room, including my hotel key and
Well done.
the identification I would need to get a new hotel key. So that was a fun end to the night that eventually
That's
worked
right.
out.
Yeah. What did you play last night?
Matt Leacock took me out to dinner, so I played the game of delicious food. And then we did some of his prototypes, and then we played the new copy of Nefarious.
All right, there you go. What else? Matt Leacock prototypes. Yes. Well, let's not talk about this. On there. One funny thing that came up talking with Z-Man Media thing was that, of course, now that they bought Plaid Hat, they will be releasing Seafall. So they both have now
Rob
Pandemic
Daviau
Legacy in 2015 and Seafall in 2016. Pandemic Legacy Season 2, perhaps 2017. We'll see. It's a lot of legacy
Yeah,
stuff.
legacy love,
Yeah.
Is Legacy the new steampunk, which is the new zombie?
which is the new black.
It's a new time travel. Any other questions? Okay.
When is the last time any of you played Puerto Rico?
About 4 months ago, teaching someone one of their first Euros ever. So that was cool.
Did they like it?
Yeah, they had definitely done something meaty enough that I felt comfortable teaching them Puerto Rico. And they came in saying, boy, I really wanted to try this. And I said, okay, that's fine. I will teach it to you, and then I'll leave. Because I haven't played it
Did
before.
you actually play?
No.
Oh.
I'm lucky I remembered how to teach it.
So that doesn't count.
Oh, okay, fair.
Yeah.
Then like 5 years.
I will say we
I'm
did notice a
thinking-
trend that this is from reading chat. We did notice a trend of a lot of lighter games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Oh, yeah.
I can only I think that I only talked to one person whose game was longer than an hour and a half,
Yes.
and most of them were under an hour, like 45 to an hour.
Yeah.
I actually had somebody today who said, this is a heavy Euro game. I'm like, thank you.
Was it?
What game?
Oh.
Now you're blanking. Called you on it. Bullshit. I call
Hang on,
you.
hang on, hang on.
Yeah, sure.
Hang on.
Yeah, try to save face here. Maybe it's Spiel. We'll have heavier stuff. Because yes, it's not here. Or at least it's not what we're reserving in here.
Right.
There's some things. Not that we cover every game here.
It was,
Like the Mr. B stuff with Post-Human. We had something like that, but it's a preview only, so we're not highlighting it here with what he's doing.
Any new trick-taking games this year? Well,
Oh,
since you ask,
by chance, hey, look what I have right in my pocket here, which I haven't even opened yet,
been
so I
holding
don't
out
even
on
know. I just got handed it. Sherry gave it to me here. Hey, Sherry, look. Oh, Sherry's
busy.
By chance, the publisher is right there. All up there. Jack Attack by Joe Andrews. I don't know. I mentioned playing trick-taking games while I was talking with Sherry Spira from Breaking Games.
the dealer hall is closed.
The lights went off. Everyone's like, get out.
Yeah.
We hate you.
well, if we were at Essen right now, it'd be, thank you for attending the show. Thank you and good night. And it really sounds like, thank you and good night.
Thank you and good night.
That's right.
Here we have the wrestling announcer
I
who's going
know.
to chime in.
Attention.
Attention, Gen Con
Jankies.
exhibitors.
You
The
jank-
time is now 4 o'clock.
you
Pack up
janky
your crap
exhibitor.
and get lost.
Get your shit out of here.
Watch your
Sorry,
language.
sorry,
Hey.
sorry.
Watch your fucking mouth, Adam.
Thank you for making me feel better. See? He's probably not going to say what I said.
That would be
Perhaps
awesome.
not.
I really want him to pull something where he'd be like all of a sudden like, oh shit, and he'd spill coffee on his lap or something. And
That rice patty game was the game that I had previewed last year on Canada. I was wondering, like, how many rice patty games could there really be? And I was right. It was the same.
well,
How
I
many?
think when I previewed it last time, it was a very a rough prototype, and it's much closer now.
oh yeah. Actually, I really like that one had little grooves and the pieces don't slide around. Like that's nice.
All right. Wow, the rules are very short here. So here's the trick-taking game. Yeah, trick-taking games are just not a thing here. I picked up a copy of Panda Head, as I
What's that?
promised myself. It's an R&R game by Aaron Weisblum and a co-designer whose name I can't recall off the top
Is
of
it
my
a
head.
trick-taking game?
It's a trick-taking game where
wonder if
you're
I
trying to
can
get low scores, $10.
I'll have to go over there and check it out.
And it's
I
one
have
of
a
those-
weakness for trick-taking games
We talk
in
about
a big way.
preparations for Gen Con, and this is one thing where the pallets were running late, and R&R had to pay hundreds of dollars to ship these titles here that they had said were going to be here, even though they're all like $10 retail games.
What game was that called again?
Hand to head.
All right, favorite trick-taking game, go.
Ever?
Yes.
I don't know, Flash and Teufel.
Fleisch and Teufel. Die Sieben Siegel for myself.
I think
Jackson.
Flash and Teufel for me too. That's fun to say.
Flash and Teufel.
The heavy game that was admittedly a heavy game, I think, was Chaos Code. Because it certainly wasn't deck building, the deck building game.
That's right.
Although New Bedford probably could be pretty deep. But
Even that's going to be an hour and a half, I think.
yeah, depends on your definition of deep. Because there's
That's right.
time deep and thinky deep.
Yes.
So
it does.
we had actually been asked this earlier: is how do you pick the numbers on our jerseys? So I picked it because I was born in 1980.
Mine's my birthday, August 1st. Yes, that was yesterday. Still playing that one up.
She got
That's right.
a single
Where's my
cupcake.
Where's my cupcake?
That was very disappointing.
That's right. Mail or some cupcakes, somebody.
Yeah.
That's right. Mine is short for 411. I got abbreviation. I only got 2/3 of the number I desired.
We have a unusually high percentage of numbers that end in 1.
That's right. 51.
Oh, they asked about videos of roaming through the halls and stuff. So you record.
Did we do any?
Yeah.
I did.
I did not do one just walking around. You did?
I did 3 actually. They go onto the BGD Twitter account. They were all posted yesterday, pretty much 3 in a row, and I tried to highlight the major Gen Con features that are always here. So there was the balloon sculpture, Card Hollow, one of the main exhibit halls, the cosplay posing area, some of the live music.
Did you see any cosplay while you were there?
Oh yeah, I got a really good Darth Vader. There was a whole steampunk group that I stood there and watched for a while. And of course, I'm trying to do this while
Walking.
narrating
walking.
and periscoping and
Right,
trying
right.
not to kill others or myself. So they're each about 5 minutes. So it's supposed to just give you a flavor of what it's like to be in the show. There's also one video that is just a loop around here, what's right around our booth. But honestly, I didn't. And people say, "Kev, walk around more, walk around more." What you're gonna see is the backs of people's heads. So I did
Unless
not walk
Eric
around
does
more.
it because he's
Yeah,
taller
yeah.
than
I think I've seen the top of people's
We
heads.
need you.
Yeah.
We need you in a
That's a little more
selfie
exciting.
stick.
It's a little more exciting.
Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna go clean up. Because I'm a dirty, dirty girl.
Everything's
All
more
right,
exciting
I think-
from my point of view.
I think we're gonna wrap up soon. Last chance for questions,
Anything else?
and now we have to wait for the.
Wow,
delay.
it's funny with like the last minute, the trick-taking talk. I mean, it's hard just because they're not flashy. It's
Yeah,
not
that's
something
true.
you're gonna, we're gonna bring this to a convention, this awesome
And they're-
trick-taking game.
Like I've often found myself seriously tempted to just go to just to cruise the booth and I see any cars, be like, is that a trick-taking game? Like, because I have no way of identifying them.
No, it's hard because yes, this you're not gonna see on a shelf.
Right.
It's not gonna stand out anyway. The longer we stay here, the less we have to do. We should,
That's true.
I guess
That's
we
true.
can't pack
so
up
Chet,
though
you need
until.
to give us a lot. Oh, here. Oh, there's like 30 questions here.
Oh, okay, all at once.
I guess the first question is, favorite song. No.
Favorite song? It's, yeah. I can do
So,
it. Radio
let's see.
Babylon by the Orb.
Where's the Kickstarter to get Adam to Essen? I like that question. That's a good question. I think
Okay.
it's going to be a GoFundMe probably.
Yeah, we'll have to say.
Do you know anything about an expansion to Pandemic the Cure?
There is supposedly an expansion in the works. Beth, you want
Beth would know. They playtest a lot of that stuff.
expansion for
Pandemic the Cure expansion?
As in,
Just any info about it or
I
that you're
don't-
allowed to share?
I don't.
nothing is public yet.
Yeah.
So
as-
Beth knows, but she won't tell you.
I will not tell.
I believe it's just that it's in the works.
I am not talking.
She might tell me. We're under a friend DA with each other. So.
That's right. I can't tell anyone she's my friend. That's the NDA. I mean, that's the problem with a lot of this is, I mean, it's not a problem, but of course you see a lot of things. I just played a game that is probably going to be out in 2017.
Wow.
Yeah, and it's just
Was it good?
It was
Need some development?
It was good, except suddenly the wheels fell off the car at the end,
Yeah.
and we were just spinning for like 3 turns, and no one could build their way to completion. And the designer said, "Oh, this had not happened before," out of like dozens of previous plus days. So
Right.
it's great. That's what you want to see. So super. Thank you. And now let's fix it. So,
Jake would like to know if there's any word on the Legendary Aliens expansion.
no, I
Asked
heard
and
nothing.
We heard other stuff in
I-
the Legends line, right?
Yes, the legendary Big Trouble in Little China, and then Legendary Encounters Firefly were announced last night by Upper Deck, and they were announced by way of poster. that was held up, and it just had a picture and said coming 2016, and then the picture was put away. There's no other information right now.
I don't know if you're going to know the answer to this, but someone wants to know, why didn't the game, the card game that was on,
Right.
Get new art and a theme for the U.S. edition?
Because that would cost money.
Cost money.
I mean, I don't know if that's why, but I know that.
Can it really cost that much to retheme a card background to put 99 numbers on and a
True.
card back?
True. If you're doing two pieces of art,
Two pieces of art.
that's not bad. But one of the issues as well is it depends
And a
on
font
the
change.
depends on the licensing contract that the originating publisher is
That's
going
true.
to have. Because
Preach.
talking with Pandasaurus, Nathan said that this was produced by NSV, Nürnberger Spielkarten Verlag, with the exact artwork, exact card, type, card stock, produced where they normally produce it, just with English rules instead of German rules and English text on the box instead of that. That's it. And often it's going to depend on your licensing contract, what you are allowed to do with the property. Can you put a new cover on it? Are we only allowed to put our logo? Can we, sub-license now in a different language?
You know what would be even stranger
All
than the
this type
theme
of
of the
stuff.
game, which is very strange, is if he was super protective about making sure it wasn't changed. But who knows?
Maybe.
Who knows?
I don't know. And again, actually, no, I can imagine that. Because you think about a situation like Bezier Games, how people flipped out over the new version of Suburbia, I believe, where the Polish edition had different artwork with different tiles, a few different expansion tiles.
I'm not
So
gonna be able
first,
to get that,
first there's
and-
like the different tiles, but the different artwork, and you're like, wow, I like this artwork a lot better. Why can't I get this?
I remember
I don't
feeling
want to
that way
order
with when
Poland.
Coup first came out, and there was like a Russian edition of Coup
Right.
that had gorgeous art.
You mean the Brazilian one?
Or the Brazilian one,
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, and I
That
was Russian. I was
Brazilian
like,
was
I want
sweet.
that Brazilian art was great.
Yes, so
Yeah.
there can be issues, I think. I don't know specifically, but you can imagine every contract is going to tell you what you're allowed to do and not do with whatever property you have. And you might not want competing versions out there. Maybe you want a unified front. When you look at this, you're going to think the game wherever you see it, for the life of the
Right.
contract.
Just grabbing this really quick.
Yeah. Pull that in here.
Somebody asked if there were any good 4X games for someone who has never played the genre.
I did see a couple of people talking about Pocket Imperium,
That's what I was trying to
which
remember.
is like this mini 4X game.
So I talked to them. It's certainly reduced in mini, but it seems to have a lot of the elements. Much faster, easier to play, easier to pick up.
That's right.
That might be a good starting place.
Disclosure, I was paid to edit the rules for that game.
Oh,
Disclosure, you can hire me to edit your rules. So, it's a side job.
Attention Gen Con exhibitors, the time is now 10 after 4. Please make sure you get your rebook forms for 2016 into exhibitor headquarters before 5 o'clock tonight. Thank you.
Right? This is what they're just saying here. Get your rebook forms in by 5 o'clock tonight.
So-
Otherwise, you are SOL.
Clammy721 asked if there's any chance of Gen Con moving to anywhere to get more space, like away from Indy.
Well, if we remember the issue that came up with I forget the exact name of it, but the
RFRA?
civil. Yes.
Yeah, so, I live here, so I'm
Yeah,
I'm
you
much
know-
more
you
familiar
know
with
all
it.
about this,
So
but-
yeah, the religious freedom referendum.
Right. So the whole point was, even when Gen Con made a statement about that, they're like, we're not going anywhere until 2020 at the earliest.
Because that's when their contract is until. That's
Yes.
a long contract.
Yes,
Yeah.
it is. So that becomes a problem
So
as
not
well.
anytime soon. Because I'm sure that if they broke that, it would be.
It would be more
exorbitantly
expensive than any sort of benefit you're going to get
Right.
from moving. That's a problem. I mean, we have the same thing where we're kind of at our maximum at BGG
At
Con.
BGG Con? Yeah.
With 2,300 people attending, it's a good number for that space, where it fills it a lot. Some people already talk about the noise in the ballroom hall, and yet I believe we're under contract for 2 more years, 2 or 3. I don't
Although
know.
we've been getting more and more space from them every year. This next time we have a lot more space from them too.
Okay.
But the space is strange. They have like ballrooms on other floors of the hotel,
Right.
and I think we're getting all of them.
Okay.
So there should be more open gaming space and potentially space that people don't know about, so might be quieter.
But that's somehow the generosity of the hotel after the fact.
That's true.
Right? If they stuck to whatever we signed and said, no, you're stuck here, this is what you get, this is what you're doing, you know, you
Well,
have no
generosity,
choice.
I'm sure we're paying for that space.
Okay, yeah. Limited generosity.
Right.
I'll let you pay.
I will allow you to pay me to use my goods.
Yes.
So
Anything else?
I think no. So I think that's it. We'll go ahead and wrap up. So
That's right.
signing off. Thanks everybody.
Now, I'm going to say it right now, and I'm going to post about it soon. Despite my promises to do so, I am not publishing the Spiel preview tomorrow, August 3rd.
You were sleeping.
I am a fool. I will admit straight out that I told publishers, get me your information by July 27th, and you will be in the preview when it goes live on August 3rd. Somehow, I thought I'd get work done this week. I don't know what I was
I don't know what
thinking.
you were thinking
I don't know what I
either.
was thinking. So I have information from at least 20 publishers in my inbox that I have not gotten to yet, and I've received a half dozen more while I was here at least. Just running into people. Tippia Games was like, oh, we're late with the information, can we still get that to you? And I'm like, well, yeah, of course, send it to me, I'll add it in when it goes live. And rather than have it go up now, I will spend all this coming week on nothing else but getting all that in there so it debuts with everything all at once, which I'm sorry, I know in the future now not to do this. I know as well now that the Mertz deadline for submission for information is July 31st, and then so I'll have code time with mine, and I'll get all the information at the same time as everyone else. So I can either disappoint people by publishing this late, or disappoint publishers by not having them in there when I said I would. And it's sort of, I can debut this half-assed one that's not done, so.
All right. Well, thanks for watching,
Sorry.
everybody, and I guess
sorry.
I will see you next year.
I'm so
and
sorry.
See some of us at Essen.
So sorry.